This is the Fan Finance Show from talkSPORT. I am Rick Kelsey, looking into the least cost-effective Premier League signings ever. Now, we all know how disappointing it is when a big signing flops, but what's the actual cost to a team when someone doesn't turn up, doesn't score, but is still on the books? Now, it's fair to say we are in a frenzy at the moment when it comes to spending by clubs in the Premier League. They've splashed out more than $3 billion in the latest transfer window. And the Premier League's pretty much entered uncharted territory in 2025 with that level of spending. And it's basically fueled by three things. Record media rights deals, this time lasting 4 years instead of 3, giving those clubs that financial stability over the long term. And also the expansion of the lucrative Champions League with a record 6 English clubs in it. And then there's the third reason. The clubs have been selling to each other, and this often means big money because they sell homegrown players. And under profit and sustainability, or PSR rules, you get maximum money back for selling something that cost you absolutely nothing coming through your academy and shifting it to another club. And by shifting that player, if they come from a UK academy, often they want to stay in the UK. Hence the massive amount of spending that we've seen in between Premier League clubs over the last couple of months. Into the fun bit. Here's my list of some of the least effective Premier League signings ever. First up, Romelu Lukaku from Inter Milan to Chelsea in 2021, costing, I just can't believe I'm saying this out loud, 97.5 million. Yeah, he'd done a great job at Everton a few years before, went to United, wasn't great there for a couple of seasons, went over to Inter Milan, thought I'll come back to the Premier League. He only managed 8 goals in 26 Premier League appearances. His wage was about £325,000 a week. And he did that controversial interview, didn't he? And I remember I was there for this interview that was going on where he talked about he wanted to go back to Inter Milan, then had to apologise to the Chelsea fans. He was loaned out, he went back to Inter, then he went to Roma. Eventually he was sold to Napoli for £30 million. They made a £60-odd million loss on a player over such a short period of time. And that worked out at £6.5 million for every Chelsea goal. If you're wondering why your pie and drink is costing you a lot at Stamford Bridge this week, some of those poor decisions in the past may be coming back to haunt you. He also gave this controversial interview to an Italian journalist, and I was working in the Premier League at the time, and I remember how upset people in the club were when this was going on. He alluded to wanting to go back to Inter Milan very shortly after he came to Chelsea and had to apologise to the Chelsea fans. But in the end of the day, he was loaned out. He went back on loan to Inter, then he went to Roma, and eventually he was sold to Napoli for under 30 million quid. Now, that was a loss of £67 million for Chelsea, and it worked out at an incredible 6.5 million for every Chelsea goal, and that is why he's at the top of my flops list. So next, let's talk about Danny Drinkwater from Leicester City to Chelsea for 35 million in 2017. His story after he left Leicester City and winning the league there and being an incredible powerhouse of their midfield, it really went downhill for Danny. He had 2 seasons at the club, but he only made 12 Premier League appearances. He had a real limited time under Conte. Sarim gave him 1 hour to find a club to go on loan and ultimately left him at Chelsea with no game time. He was training with the reserves. In total, he played only 1,181 minutes. That works out at £29,000 per minute. Ooh. He played for England a couple of times. He was, of course, that Premier League winner with Leicester City and a top lad, but a real poor time at Chelsea. Good nostalgia, this one. Andy Carroll, Newcastle United to Liverpool. 35 million, 2011. One of my favourite days, I think, in football transfers ever. 58 appearances for the club. 11 goals in all competitions. That's £3 million per goal. He's still ploughing his trade though. He loves playing football. He was a contagious flop. He signed after Torres was sold to Chelsea by Liverpool for 50 million in the same day. Liverpool fans, I remember at the time, weren't actually too hopeful of that coming off, and it turns out they were right. Nicolas Pepe, Lille to Arsenal for 72 million. I'll just say that again. 72 million. Now I was looking at his goal return and it wasn't actually that bad when you weigh it all up. He did 27 goals in 112 appearances, but he really struggled to hold down a starting place. So when you look at that goal to appearances ratio, you're actually thinking it's not too bad. Plenty of appearances in cup games, and he ended up leaving on a free transfer. His current value though, around 5 million. And he went out on loan to Nice for the 2022-23 season. But I'd be interested, Arsenal fans, was he not given a chance? And actually, he could have been a lot better. Let's talk about Mykhailo Mudryk from Shakhtar Donetsk to Chelsea. 88.5 million a couple of years ago in 2023. He made 73 appearances and scored 10 goals. And of course, he's got some well-documented problems. Obviously, he's been banned. And this really hasn't helped their profit and sustainability rules, because when you're paying that amount of money and you're not getting anything back, well, it all comes off your balance sheet. And that's why Chelsea have kind of struggled with these rules a lot over the last couple of years. It's one of the reasons. It was on a ludicrous 8.5-year deal, and I'm thinking when they signed him, 8.5 years, do you know what you're getting? Some of these longer deals, I mean, they try to lock him in for longer, so in the event that they do want to leave, they'll get more for them. But of course, that comes with more upfront costs, both for the club and for the player. It works out at over £1 million per Premier League appearance. And wow, I mean, it's just incredible, these numbers. There was also a bidding war, if anyone remembers it. Arsenal were also going for him at the same time, and I bet you they are happy they missed out. Now, you knew this one was coming. Antony, Ajax to Manchester United, 86 million in 2022. I mean, I saw an interview with him recently where he was basically in tears talking about his missed opportunity while he was at Manchester United. He scored 12 goals for the club in 3 years. Wow, £7.2 million per goal. Painful. 5 assists. He got 22 in fewer games at Ajax, and he was sold to Real Betis for around 22 million, making a £60 million loss. I mean, you want to know where United's problems are coming from? Just take a look at this. Taking these figures, this kind of subs it up in one player. He was ridiculed for his famous 360 trick, and just the club were desperate to get rid of him in the end, and it would be after forking out 86 million for him just 3 years ago. Sticking at Old Trafford, Jadon Sancho, Borussia Dortmund to Manchester United, £73 million in 2021. Do you remember how excited United fans were about this guy? I mean, literally, they were blown away to get him. Loads of people were after him. Liverpool, City, Chelsea were looking at him. United got him. He had a huge fallout with Erik ten Hag. It destroyed his Man United career, was training with the reserves, sometimes not even with the reserves. 83 appearances, 12 goals, 6 assists. Just 3 Premier League goals in 29 appearances in his first season. And he was forced out. He went back to Dortmund, where he really felt, at home playing his football. And he did an all right job when he actually went back to Dortmund. Then he went to Chelsea. Didn't have a great time there either. Now he's gone to Villa. And then he had those social media posts, didn't they? They were a PR nightmare for Man United. You just couldn't imagine that happening under Sir Alex Ferguson, talking about his time, how he felt, what it was like playing at the club. And it was another one of those famous Erik ten Hag fallouts with his players, where it just felt like the whole club lacked discipline and people weren't communicating and didn't care what they were saying. And he was gone. Chelsea declined to sign him on a permanent deal too, and they had to pay 5 million, and they just thought, you know what, it's not worth it. But how's he going to get on at Villa? Let's see. So there you have it. Some of the least effective Premier League signings ever. Would they make it onto your list? Let me know in the comments if you think there's someone really big that we've missed out. Of course, profit and sustainability rules really coming into play in the Premier League now. And one of the real tricky things with that is so many homegrown academy players are shifted for that money to balance the books. I wonder if those rules will change in the future to make that less likely. This is the Fan Finance Show from talkSPORT. I'm Rick Kelsey. We've only ever got one aim: to make sure fans don't get priced out of the beautiful game. We'll see you soon.